That familiar sound of rubber and wood floor. The feel of the ball passing between hands and air. The squeaking of the sneakers. And the moment of silent breath thankfully followed by the whipping of net. And the reward after. This is a moment to remember. This is a Mingua moment.
The future of healthcare seems dark at times, but for patients in Kentucky with diagnostic imaging needs, there's a place with clarity and a compassionate staff. Lexington Diagnostic Center and Open MRI provides quality patient care while saving you hundreds to thousands of dollars as compared to hospital-based centers. Remember, for your medical imaging needs, you have a choice. Lexington Diagnostic Center and Open MRI.
Did you know, in addition to education assistance, UPS now provides housing for qualified employees? Through the UPS Kentucky Living Options and Opportunities Path, also known as UPS Kentucky Loop, you can work part-time in Louisville, go to school at Jefferson Community and Technical College, and receive housing for up to 2 years. Earn a degree or learn a trade. It's up to you. Loop benefits are available to those who live outside the Louisville metro area, whether you're just starting college or going back to school. It's time to get in the loop. For more information, visit upsjobs.com. That's upsjobs.com.
I work really hard, but I'm struggling to pay my bills on time. I've gotten pretty far behind, and I don't know what to do.
Is this happening to you? We're Atkinson, Sims, and Kermode.
Bankruptcy could be your best solution.
We're here to give you a fresh financial start.
Start your bankruptcy for as little as $78 now. The consultation is free. In Lexington and now in London.
That familiar sound of rubber and wood floor. The feel of the ball passing between hands and air. The squeaking of the sneakers. And the moment of silent breath thankfully followed by the whipping of net. And the reward after. This is a moment to remember. This is a Mingua moment.
Folks, this is Gary Ball, and you hear my catchphrase, soup and a sandwich. When I want the best potato soup and prime rib sandwich, I head over to Rafferty's Restaurants after my games. Check out Rafferty's 9 great locations throughout Kentucky, and all you teens, you can eat at Rafferty's before those big ball games. The open prime rib sandwich is what legends are made of. Ask Joe B. Hall, the legend himself, it's his favorite. Rafferty's a big supporter of high school sports throughout Kentucky. Rafferty's, where the special is you.
by the number.
Welcome to the 11th Region semifinal basketball games here at Eastern Kentucky University. Gary Ball with Tony Wise and the King of Stream, William Warfield, and Darren Douglas, our sideline reporter tonight on all these 11th Region basketball games. Well, it started on Monday. We had the LCA Woodford County game, and Woodford County took it to LCA, beat them by 14 points in that game, and now tonight it'll be the Final Four. Frankfort, the Panthers 28-5 will take on Scott County. They have a 30-3 record. Scott County, of course, coached by the legendary Billy Hicks. Frankfort Panthers coached by Chris O'Brien, and what a job he has done there at Frankfort High. I'm not telling you anything. You don't know Tony Wise, right there in the same district with the Frankfort High School.
Yeah, especially after last Wednesday when they beat us 32. So I have fresh memories. Now, Chris has done a super job with these guys. You know, the group from Frankfort have played together for 3 years, add in a couple of newcomers. Jackson Twombly, a freshman, 6'5" freshman. Javon Bush has really come on this year as a senior. And this is a very senior-heavy group that have played together. You add in the coach's son, Will O'Brien, and they've really mixed together well. They play together well, and they play extremely hard and are unbelievably athletic.
And Scott County comes in, of course, with Michael Moreno, the 11th Region Co-Player of the Year for the 11th Region, even though he had the fractured. That tells you how much the rest of the region thinks of Michael Moreno. When you can fracture a foot in December during the Beach Ball Classic and still be co-region player of the year. But same thing can be said for Dante Allen of Pendleton County, what people thought about him. He was the 10th region player of the year, and he's up for Mr. Basketball, and he'll probably win Mr. Basketball. This is going to be announced Tuesday night.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that I noticed watching Michael Friday and then watching him again on Monday night, he seems to have improved tremendously in a 3-day period. And I think every time he takes the floor, you'll see his confidence grow up, his conditioning will grow up. And if he can get healthy and they can survive the regional tournament and get him healthy for next week, they are definitely the team to beat.
No doubt about it. The Scott County Cardinals, 30 wins on the season. They fell to Henry Clay in the district championship last Friday night. They rebounded with an impressive win over Madison Central Monday night at Madison Central.
You know, I wasn't there, but I watched the game on the feed from Madison Central, and it was very, very physical game, which bodes well for Scott County. If they call that very similar tonight, that they're so physical and so quick that, you know, that's one of my keys of the game, to see if Frankfort can handle that pressure.
Let's go to Darren Douglas. He has Chris O'Brien, the head coach of Frankfort.
Here with Coach Chris O'Brien, the head man of Frankfort High. And Coach, it's been a little while since the Panthers have been in this position, but a big win for you at home the other night against Dunbar, and you did it the way you've always done it. That was just basically with defense.
Yep. You know, we told the kids going into it, we're going to do what we do. Same thing tonight, we're going to do what we do. We're going to play good, solid defense. We're going to get after people. We're going to, you know, try and execute our offense. We know Scott County's going to come out and put a lot of pressure on us. So we've got to be able to take care of the ball and, you know, put the ball in the basket.
Well, I did know that Dunbar the other night deployed a zone defense against you, try to keep Tillman off the glass and try to keep him from getting to the rim to score. But the thing about Tillman, I've noticed in 3 games this year covering the 41st District, he's a willing passer from the post, so that's great to have as a big man.
Jonathan's very unselfish. He's one of our team leaders. At heart, he's just one of the best kids you could be around. But, you know, he's one of our leaders. Got to keep him out of foul trouble tonight because we need him in there, no doubt about that. Every minute we can get him in there.
Of course, now you also have to have big play for your guards. When you play Scott County, you got to have really good guard play. You have 3 seniors, though, in Bush, Frank, and Davis. And Davis the other night tweaked his ankle. Just wondering how it's going to be.
He's not 100%, but he'll give us all. He's a leader. He's going to do what he can for us.
All right, Coach, thank you very much.
Thanks, sorry.
That's all right. Coach Chris O'Brien cut a little short by the...
Thank you, Darren Douglas. Courtside with Chris O'Brien. We'll try to get one of the Scott County coaches. The teams are meeting now. The captains are meeting at midcourt. And, of course, we'll have all that action for you, too. And we'll have a public address announcer here for the starting lineups and all that. We have the wireless mic here, Tony. That really adds a lot to our broadcast here in the 11th Region on PrepSpin.com.
Oh, yeah. You guys have come a long way since we first started doing this years ago. It's a big-time operation. I love just being a part of it.
We got Frankfort, Scott County in this one. Let's turn our attention to the second game tonight. Woodford County and Henry Clay. That should be interesting. Henry Clay with the Marquez Ward kid, who's an outstanding player, Mr. Basketball candidate next year in his senior year. And you've got Keyston Brown, the coach's son, a good heady ball player. You also have the big man down low for them, Harris Hawkins, and he does a good job on the boards. But lately, though, you've got Raymond Jackson, Razor, the basketball player, and also Mayan White has really become a big scorer for Henry Clay of late.
Yeah, I thought Jackson and White really played well Friday night. Watching the video of that game, and those are the kinds of kids that have to step up. People you don't expect to contribute, and they did Friday night and propelled them to upset Scott County.
Woodford County got over defeated LCA. Woodford County got great play out of Brandon Cromwell. He's also a son of a head coach. Used to be the head coach at Henry Clay. Scott Cromwell. Of course, Ryan Wilson's done a great job with that Woodford County bunch, and they've got a good ball club. They got Corey George, who really has a nose for that basketball, can rebound. Hunter Penn is about 6'3", 6'4", good rebounder. So that's a quality Woodford County team.
No, they're very solid. It's they have 6 seniors, and I've told people beginning last year, if Corey George was 6'5" or 6'6", he could be first and second team All-State. He is really, really good.
Let's go back courtside to Darren Douglas as he has assistant coach at Scott County.
For me, this ball club sat at number 1 all year long. Struggled a little bit down the stretch, but they seem to be hitting back on all cylinders now. What's it going to take for you to knock off Frankfort here tonight?
Well, number one, our calling card is on the defensive end. We've worked hard the last 7 to 10 days getting our defensive mojo back. That's our number 1 goal tonight. To play real tough defense. We got to rebound the ball. Tillman's a very good rebounder inside. And we just want to push the ball up and play together, and we play unselfish. That's usually when we're at our best.
You ready to get back to the locker room with your head coach?
Thank you.
Chris Wilhite, the assistant coach here. Gary, everybody just buckle up. Not for just this game, but both games tonight. It's going to be high rate.
We got Frankfort and Scott County here, and then after that it'll be Woodford. They'll take on Henry Clay. We'll step out here on PrepSpin and take a commercial break and come back and have some more scene set for you here at the 11th Region Boys Basketball Tournament at Paul S. McBrory Arena on the campus of Eastern Kentucky University. The King of Stream, William Moorfield in the house on PrepSpin.com.
Whitaker Bank loves the Kentucky communities we serve.
Whitaker Bank supports 496 Kentucky schools.
Over 282,000 students benefit from Whitaker Bank's Kentucky education initiatives.
Whitaker Bank has contributed almost $441,000 to education programs for the advancement of Kentucky's youth.
We share your passion, Kentucky.
Love the bank that loves you back.
Whitaker Bank is uniquely Kentucky.
Some things never change. Like the sound of pads crushing against the equipment, the feel of cleats on fresh-cut grass, or the deep breaths from a full practice. Another thing that never changes, the feeling of relief when the whistle blows for break. And the savory snack to go along with it. This is a moment to remember. This is a Mingua moment.
I'm on a fixed income. Credit cards help me balance the money that's coming in and what I need to live on. I've thought about bankruptcy, but how am I supposed to pay for it?
Sometimes the people that need help the most
are the very people who can least afford it.
We've come up with a way to get you started for less.
Start your bankruptcy for as little as $78 now. The consultation is free. In Lexington and now in London.
This is where it all started, right here on this farm. We may have grown over the years, but we've never lost sight of what was important to us. We're continuing that tradition today, and we always will be for generations to come.
And once they figured out to get the ball to Tillman here late in the year, they become more successful.
And also we want to tell you about Chaz Alston, who averages nearly 10 points. You got Jackson Twombly, the freshman. He comes off the bench averaging over 6, and he's also shooting 70% from the field. So it doesn't hurt to have a 6'7" man that's shooting 70%. Yeah, Twombly will not play out on the perimeter much, but if he gets it down low, he's pretty effective down there. And then, of course, we talked about the Javon Bush, the speed he possesses. He's an outstanding defensive guy, 5'10" senior. He will get to start tonight for the Panthers of Frankfort High. By the way, their record, 28-5, and that is the best record they've had there in something like 50, 60 years, I believe.
Yeah, I think they set the school record for all-time wins. So they've had an unbelievable year, and I give credit to Coach Bryan. You know, he picked up Fern Creek and battled on their schedule late in the year, beat both of them at home. So, and we're getting some photography work done here at Eastern Kentucky University as PrepSpin has the exclusive rights for the streaming here tonight. Derek Varney's in the house. He's going to do the Woodford County Henry Clay game with us next ball game. So looking forward to that. But we're excited about this Scott County. I tell you, I saw Scott County Friday night and in action. And, you know, I was impressed with, Coach Wise, Taryn Hamilton. Young kid's got a nice 10, 15-foot jumper. He was using that effectively. He had about 5 or 6 of those in the paint area, knocked them down. And Michael Moreno didn't have his typical, you know, great Moreno game, but he did start for Scott County that night. You know, watching the game on video, it seems as if Scott County just kind of churns out one of those 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" kids. And you could make the argument that Taryn Hamilton kept them in the game in the second and third quarters. So, you know, it's just another weapon to add to the top team in the state. It is Scott County. They're 30-3 under Billy Hicks. And Frankfort Panthers, they're 28-5 under Chris O'Brien. At Woodford County, 22 wins. They'll go up against Henry Clay. Henry Clay has an outstanding record this year, too. They're sitting there at 27-5, I believe, on the season. Winners of the 42nd District. And, of course, Scott County and Frankfort will battle here tonight. All we have left is the 41st and 42nd District. There's no 43rd, 44th teams left. You know, we were talking about that after Monday night. When's the last time a 43rd District team wasn't in the semifinals? And I don't know the answer. It's been a long, long time. You know, Gary, I honestly believe the 4 best teams in our region are here in the semifinals. Yeah. And I think a big factor in that, doing some research, combined the 4 semifinalists, there are 27 seniors combined in the 4 teams, and 22 of those play significant minutes. So you know, you always say you're as good as your seniors. Well, it's evident here tonight because all 4 teams have a bunch of seniors. Well, that's an interesting point you bring up with that senior leadership. And for these teams, 22 of them are playing tonight in these 2 ball games between Frankfort and Scott County, then Henry Clay and Woodford County. You know, Daniel Brown told me earlier this season, before he played Trinity about a month or so ago, that this team, he said, Gary, has the potential to really gel. He said, we're really starting to play good basketball. He said, it's not just Marquez Warwick, you know, everybody, you know, the Hawkins kid, the Brown kid, the Jackson kid off the bench, they're all starting to play really good basketball at Henry Clay. But, you know, Woodford County, they'll have their hands full tonight. Yeah, you talking about 2 very, very different styles. Woodford County is very deliberate. We'll try to grind you out. and Henry Clay wants to get up and down. So it would be unlike this first game. If you're watching at home, don't go to the bathroom until we get a commercial break, because you will miss about 10 possessions.
In just a moment, we're going to turn it over to the public address announcer here at Eastern Kentucky University for tonight's starting lineups and the national anthem here. And it will be yes, we'll take a break during the national anthem. Then we'll have the starting lineups. We'll step out here on PrepSpin.com.
That familiar sound of rubber and wood floor. The feel of the ball passing between hands and air. The squeaking of the sneakers. And the moment of silent breath, thankfully followed by the whipping of net. And the reward after. This is a moment to remember. This is a Mingua moment.
Hi, this is Gary Ball for Crown Trophy of Lexington. Crown Trophy offers youth sports awards, corporate awards. They offer signs and a full line of promotional products. They're located at 2680 Wilhite Drive on the corner of Nicholasville, New Circle Road, just behind Starbucks. Stop by and pick up your copy of our 85-page catalog. Crown Trophy is nationally known, but locally owned with 150 stores nationwide. Crown Trophy, the official provider of plaques for the Scholastic Ball Report and PrepSpin.
By the numbers, Whitaker Bank loves the Kentucky communities we serve.
Over 30,000 Kentuckians are saving time and money by doing their banking online with Whitaker Electronic Banking.
341,000 transactions were made on the go last year using the Whitaker Bank mobile app.
Over 340,000 text alerts were sent last year with Whitaker Bank text banking.
We share your passion, Kentucky. Love the bank that loves you back. Whitaker Bank is uniquely Kentucky. By the numbers, Whitaker Bank loves the Kentucky communities we serve.
Whitaker Bank supports 956 Kentucky charities and community events.
Employees of Whitaker Bank volunteered 14,860 hours to better our Kentucky communities.
93 nonprofits that promote diversity and inclusion in Kentucky are supported by Whitaker Bank.
We share your passion, Kentucky. Love the bank that loves you back. Whitaker Bank is uniquely Kentucky.
Back here at Eastern Kentucky University. In just a couple of moments, we're going to go over to Darren Douglas and the public address announcer here at Eastern Kentucky University as the color guard makes their way off the court here at Eastern Kentucky University. We're just a few minutes away from the 11th region.
The starting lineups. First for the Scott County Cardinals. Starting at guard, the 6'1" senior, number 2, Bryce Long. At guard, a 5'9" senior, number 11, Diablo Stewart. At guard, a 5'11" senior, number 14, Glenn Covington. At forward, a 6'7" senior, number 24, Michael Marino. And at forward, a 6' senior, number 33, Lorenzo Williams. The Cardinals are coached by Billy Hicks. And now the starting lineup for the Frankfort Panthers. Starting at guard, a 6'2" senior, number 1, Wanye Frank. At guard, a 6' senior, number 4, DeJuan Davis. At guard, a 5'10" senior, number 10, Javon Bush. At forward, a 6'2" junior, number 14,
starters for Scott County, Diablo Stewart, Glenn Covington, Bryce Long, Lorenzo Williams, Michael Moreno. And then for Frankfort, it'll be DeJuan Davis, Wanye Frank, John Tillman, and you got Javon Bush, and it looks like Chaz Alston will get the start as well, a 6'2 junior. Boy, I tell you what, this will be a good basketball game if these two teams play a good game.
Oh yeah, and like I said before the national anthem, there will be no room for the weary tonight. It will be up and down basketball.
So jumping up, it will be Tillman at 6'6". He'll go up against Moreno at 6'7". Scott County and Frankfort. Tampa's up. Moreno wins a tap to Covington. Going down low, Diablo Stewart puts it up and in with the left hand. 2-0 Scott County. Good start there on the tip.
Yeah, Frankfort didn't have anybody back, kind of fell asleep there.
Working across the line, Frank is also stolen away by Bryce Long. He kicks it out, Diablo Stewart. And there's the quickness of Frankfort showing dividends early on. Frank over to Tillman. He'll line up the three, and that's going to be an air ball pulled out of there by Diablo Stewart. Glenn Covington. Covington looking for cutters. Gives it to Moreno on the right low. Low block, powers it up, and Tillman battles with him and got a piece of that one, I think.
Yeah, great position by Tillman to get the block there.
Davis comes over now to left side. There's a jumper by Alston, and that banks in. Alston with the bank shot that goes in there, and it's 2-2. Right side, Glenn Covington, free throw line extended. He goes back to Moreno. Moreno looks for Tillman, and Tillman fouled him, I think. Went up against him, and he fouled him from behind.
Yeah, that was kind of a cheap foul by Tillman. You're almost better off just giving up the bucket he had position, because he is the one man they cannot afford to get in foul trouble tonight.
2-2 ball game, and at the line will be Michael Moreno. He had 15 points and 8 rebounds. He knocks that free throw in. I think he's coming back into form. I don't think he's 100%, but I think he's getting closer and closer.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. He looked like he really struggled Friday night, but looked much, much better on Monday at Madison Central.
Hit both free throws. It's 4-2 Scott County. In the first minute, we've had 6 points already. We didn't expect anything different, did we?
Absolutely not.
Frank, right side. Remember, a little gimpy on that ankle. He throws it out to Alston. Alston out midcourt. Gives it over to Tillman. Tillman down the lane. Dumps it over to Frank, and he's going to be fouled. I think Covington got him on the floor. Lorenzo Williams was there as well, but they're going to call that on Glenn Covington.
That's actually a pretty good foul. I don't think he meant to foul him, but saved 2 points.
It sure did, because he had an easy lay. There were 2 guys underneath the basket for Frankfort on both sides for Tillman. And shot up and in, and it's knocked down there by Bush. Nice job by Bush. First time he's touched the ball in the game. 4-4. Out top, Bryce Long for Scott County. Looking down to Moreno. Moreno, cutters going through, lines up the three, and it won't go, and rebounded by Bush. He gives now to Yanye Frank, right side, and it's shot in. Alston's shot won't go, and there comes Williams with it out of there. Williams clears it over to Covington. Bounce pass to his teammate Diablo Stewart. He's going to be fouled, and that's 2, I think, on Mr. Tillman.
Yeah, that foul was worse than the first one. He's just too important to pick up 2 cheap fouls on really layups he should have given up. But now Jackson Twombly is going to come in. He's got to play big minutes against Mr. Basketball candidate Michael Moreno.
And that's what Chris O'Brien is telling Tillman. We haven't even played 2 minutes, and you got 2 fouls.
And bad fouls at that for him.
So Tillman will go to the bench, and that will force Jackson Twombly to come in the game. Twombly is 6'5", so you don't give a whole lot of size, but he is only a freshman.
He's going to be a really good player, but he really doesn't play in fear of anybody, so let's see how he responds.
Diablo Stewart hits a second free throw, 5-4, as Davis comes out to Frank. Here's a shot on the left side, and it's no good there by Bush, Javon Bush, and clearing it off is Lorenzo Williams. Moreno's got it. Over to Bryce Long, free throw line extended. Comes back out to Moreno. 5:48 in the first, 5-4. Moreno penetrates, knocked away by Frankfort. I think Frank got a hand on that one. Davis down the right side, launches the three, and that's off the rim and rebounded and stuck back up and in by Frank. Wanye Frank with his first basket. Frankfort has the lead, 6-5 with Tillman on the bench.
Frankfort is just so quick that you get sloppy with the basketball. They've got hands coming from everywhere.
Covington the three off the mark and rebounded. Coming down with it is Frank. Wanye Frank, 6-5 Frankfort, 5 minutes, 15 seconds in the first period. Tillman picked up his first foul, second foul within 2 minutes. And there's a three-pointer back of the rim, no good. And there's Davis with the board, gets it over to Twombly, 70% shooter, and he's still 70%. Knocks it down. Jackson Twombly.
The action's so fast and furious. I think there's way too many three-point shots being taken. I'd like to see both teams get the ball to the basket a little bit more.
Bryce Long has it knocked away by Frankfort. With it is Frank. Frank down court, speeds it up, turns around, missed the layup, gets it back right side, up and in. Frank, and we're going to have a timeout called by Billy Hicks. And Frankfurt's quickness, even with Tillman on the bench, has shown up here in this first 3 minutes and 32 seconds. They lead 10-5.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of settling for jump shots. I know Scott County shoots a lot of three-point shots, but in this instance, you've got Jonathan Tillman on the bench. You have got a freshman in there, as talented as Twombly is. You have got to pound it down into Michael Moreno or set some ball screen action and force the freshman to make a decision.
10-5, Frankfort on top, leading Scott County. And Frankfort playing very good, aggressive. And you know what it is? Their hands are everywhere. They're knocking balls. They're getting a lot of loose balls, and they're getting a lot of transition. That's why they have a 10-5 lead.
Yeah, they're very active on a defensive end. And let's see how Scott County responds here.
Kobe Harrison and also Cam Fluker in for Scott County. And that young man we referenced in the pregame, Taryn Hamilton's in the ball game now.
Yeah, I don't think Billy's very happy with three of his starters.
Marino has it out top, comes over to Fluker. He's shooting 52% behind the arc. Clint Covington lets a three go in and out and rebounded. Good rebound. Boy, Frank is a good rebounder at 6'2". Frank in the front court, and he's going to be fouled. That foul is going to be called on, who'd they call that one?
Kobe Harris.
Yeah, Kobe Harris picked it up. Wasn't sure if it was Harris or.
Yeah, Wanye Frank is really coming to his own. He's put a lot of work in between last year and this year, and the hard work is really paying off. I'm not sure Kobe Harris can guard him.
Davis gets it over to Frank. Right side with, there's a good matchup.
And there he goes, got Covington on him now.
Yeah, the stopper. Right side, Frank, cut off, and a steal by Glenn Covington. He's got a 2-on-1. Covington gives it over to Fluker. Fluker tries to pass it down low, and it's going to be a foul on the floor. And let's see who they're going to call it on Frankfort. We'll wait to see who they got it on. I think they got it on number 10. Yeah, no, they called it on O'Brien.
O'Brien.
Yeah, Will O'Brien who's in the game. Marino out top. And there's Hamilton turning around. That's a little short, but chased down by Harris. Gets it back for Scott County. Covington down the lane. Right side shot won't go. And there's Twombly there with the rebound inside. DeJuan Davis back to Frank. And
he's got that range.
And that's in and out. And saved in there. Good save by Fluker. Good hustle by Cam Fluker. Covington brings it across, picks up the pace a little bit, Tony, and we got a 10-5 ball game. It's still 10-5. It's been 10-5 ever since that timeout.
Yeah, I think they're finally catching their breath. There's some nerves out here tonight, which is understandable.
There's a shot by Hamilton. That shot won't go. Rebounded by Fluker. Fluker baseline, Jay, in and out, and rebounded by O'Brien. Will O'Brien, the junior on the right side, gives it up to DeJuan Davis. Davis. Frankfort in the white tonight. Scott County in the red. Gary Ball with Tony Wise and William Moorfield, the king of stream. Darren Douglas courtside. Here at the 11th Region Tournament, Davis in trouble. He's double teamed, and he's going to be fouled by Fluker.
Man, that's kind of a cheap foul there. I didn't think that was much of a foul. But again, Scott County out of the timeout has taken 4 jump shots. Still no touches from Michael Moreno inside the paint.
And that's 3 team fouls against Scott County, 3 against Frankfort. We got 2:45 to go here in the first quarter.
Only 3 team fouls, but those 2 on Tillman are huge.
Wanye Frank goes over to O'Brien, deep in the right side. Here's a steal by Hamilton.
He's so long.
Gives it now to Diablo Stewart. Stewart penetrates, kicks it over to Lorenzo Williams. He double dribbled.
He sure did.
He pounded it. He put the ball down. Then he absolutely
grabbed
the ball and started dribbling to the left. So turned it over by Scott County, 2:30. And going out of the ball game for Frankfort will be Bush. And we got back in there is Chaz Alston. 2:27.
You know, Gary, you have all these seniors out here. They just don't get rattled very easily.
Davis to Frank, and he has it ripped away by Lorenzo Williams. Drive, layup, and in by Williams. Lorenzo, good defensive play, makes it 10-7.
Frankfort needs to stay out of the handoffs and the drill and the ball screen action because Scott County's going to double those.
And Johnny Tillman's still on that bench over there for Frankfort. He's been there since the 6:10 mark. Right side and shot up and in by Frank. That's 6 points for Wanye Frank.
And
long pass, out of bounds.
What a great move by Wanye Frank. Any young kids who are watching out there, he never played. He changed speeds 5 or 6 different times, and Glenn Covington is an excellent defender and finally made a great move to get to the basket.
Bryce Long back in the game, and going out for Scott County will be Taryn Hamilton. DeJuan Davis will work it across the timeline. Williams going to pick him up high. Angles toward the right side. Davis penetrates. Trying to get it now to Frank. In trouble. He's going to call a timeout. A quick timeout will be given to Frankfort High. That's a good timeout there by Davis, or it would have been a turnover.
Yeah, you know, Scott County, as I say, you get on that sideline or you bring an extra defender to the ball, you're asking for trouble.
We have 1:35 to go here in the first period of action, and Frankfort leads Scott County 12-7. Frankfort, winner of the 42nd when they defeated Woodford 55-50. Winners of that district, Woodford County, Henry Clay will play next. Scott County, a runner-up in the 42nd to Henry Clay, 78-71 last Friday over at Henry Clay.
And by being runner-up, they by far got the worst end of the draw.
Yeah, they had to play Central and
at
tonight
Central.
At Madison Central, and playing Frankfort here tonight on this college floor. And we're seeing that the college floor does make a difference when you have team speed.
If Scott County and they're preseason #1, if they make it to Rupp Arena, they will have earned it.
The old-fashioned way.
3 very difficult games
in
5 days.
Right. That's exactly right. 1:35 in the first quarter. 12-7. Frankfort on top of Scott County. Davis across the line. Kicks it over now as he gives it up to Austin. Gets it back out to Wanye Frank. Covington on him defensively. Wanye calling for somebody to come out and set a pick. Gets a pick from Twombly. Now Marino comes out. They go now to Austin. Austin penetrates. Off glass, no, and rebounded. As they kick it out, Williams to Moreno, and I think he might have got away with a walk.
Yeah, that's where
maybe a Euro step.
Well, that's where you can see his injury is he's still obviously not close to being 100% because he had absolutely no bounce there. If that happens before, he gets immediately to the basket.
Yeah. The foul went on Frank, his first. Team's 4th foul at the line, Moreno, and he knocks it down. Moreno, all 3 points are from the charity stripe. Has not hit a field goal. 12-8. The lead is for Frankfort with 1:10 to go here in the first period. Free throw, got it. Hey, William. I want to turn the crowd noise down just a bit. I want to turn the crowd noise down. Michael Moreno with the free throw, and it's 12-9.
Frankfort surviving with no Jonathan Tillman.
And back in the game is going to be Taryn Hamilton for Moreno. Frank, yep, get it over left side. It's stolen, boy. Scott County very active tonight with those hands.
They're starting to pick up that defensive pressure.
Covington's 3 in and out. Twombly there battling, and it will go off of Frankfort High. I think it was last touched in there by Frank. I'll give it back to Scott County. 12-9, and back in the game, Cam Fluker, and Covington will go to the bench. Covington's going for football, right? College at
excellent wide receiver.
Cumberland's, I believe, or Campbellsville.
I think it was Campbellsville.
Okay. Fluker, right side, gives it over to Bryce Long. Long over now to Williams, a 15-footer off the mark and rebounded by Davis. He kicks it out now with the ball's Bush. Javon Bush drives down, put it up and in as he laid it up. Second basket by Bush. It's 14-9.
I don't think either team is used to having to get back in defensive transition so quick.
Coach O'Brien calling play into the basket, stolen by O'Brien. I think Frank might have tipped that away.
Yeah, he did. Great hands to swipe Diablo Stewart from behind.
Frank over to O'Brien. O'Brien throws it up, and there's Williams with it, and not going to have enough time as the clock sounds and the quarter's over. First quarter closes with Frankfort on top, 14-9. They lead here on the Mingua Beef Jerky High School Basketball Game of the Week here at Eastern Kentucky University 11th Region Tournament. 14-9, Frankfort on top of Scott County.
I wanted to get back on the basketball court. I want to get back to the ref I used to be.
I want to get back to gardening.
I want to get back to playing with my band.
Only one team is qualified to get patients back to living their lives. Bluegrass Orthopedics has physician experts to assist in your recovery, whether it's an injury or chronic condition. Bluegrass Orthopedics provides convenient, specialized, and comprehensive care for your unique life.
Second quarter, and for Frankfort, coming out will be Frank, Davis, Bush, O'Brien, and Twomley. So Tillman's still on that bench over there, and he has been for quite some time.
I'd keep him over as long as I could.
Williams, Fluker, Diablo Stewart, Taryn Hamilton, and Bryce Long for Scott County. Working across is Davis. Davis to the basket and puts up the shot, no, and Bryce Long pulls off the rebound. Bryce Long will bring it across the line, give it over to Hamilton. Hamilton hands it back to Long. Long down the left side, hands it now, and there's going to be Long down low. Blocked away by Twomley. Twomley said, no, I don't think we're going to let you shoot that one.
Yeah, excellent give and go by Scott County, but Twomley with a better defensive effort.
Davis to the basket, ball knocked away. Out of bounds, it'll go back to Frankfort High. We got some first quarter stats there.
Scott County 2 of 12. They took 5 of their 12 shots. They take 38% threes on the year, but 5 of 12, especially with no Tillman in there the last 6 minutes.
Thing that surprises me, 10-9 rebounding. Advantage Frankfort without Tillman. There's Frank. Wanye loses the handle on it, kicks it back out to DeJuan Davis. Davis down low. Twomley up and in. Jackson Twomley, a 6'5 freshman. He's 2 for 2 in this game. He shoots 70% field goals on the season. One of the top field goal shooters in the state. Just doesn't have enough attempts. There's Diablo Stewart. That's an air ball. Fluker there hustling and saves it into Hamilton. Knocked away by Twomley. Picked up by Frank. Leads it out to O'Brien. O'Brien running the floor. Throws it up. No, Twomley catches it on the left side. Throws it up and it goes in. Twomley with 6.
He has excellent touch around the rim.
18-9. It's the biggest lead that Frankfort's had here at the 11th Region Tournament.
Frankfort's defense on the half court they're just swarming Scott County. Yeah. Scott County can't get any good shots.
Lorenzo Williams to Diablo Stewart, and he's going to be fouled. He'll shoot 2 free throws. So Diablo Stewart, he does what a good player does when you're down by 9 points. Penetrate, get to the basket, draw the foul, shoot 2 free throws. Exactly what he'll do.
Well, the one thing, one of my keys of the game was, could Frankfort handle the moment? I think they've done that and then some. And another one is going to be the depth issue. Yeah. Now, Twomley has given them excellent minutes. Tillman is going to be fresh when he comes back in.
Right.
Austin's on the bench. O'Brien's giving them solid minutes because they don't really go more than those 7 people. They might play an 8th or 9th, but they don't play very much. Yeah. Scott County's shoving fresh people in and out, so we'll see how that plays out.
Diablo's second free throw, got it. Diablo Stewart. He has 4 points, 1 field goal, 2 of 4 at the line. 18-10. Davis penetrates to the basket, throws it up, no, and rebounded by Moreno. Boy, that was a man rebound right there.
I think
shot put up and in, high off the glass, as Harris found himself way under the basket. He threw it, he reached back to it high off the glass and knocked it down.
Yeah, great play on previous possession. I think if DeJuan Davis had to do that again, I think he'd kick it over there to O'Brien. He got fouled.
Three-pointer, O'Brien, it'll count, and he's fouled.
Kobe Harris got him right on the arm.
So 4-point opportunity for Will O'Brien, the son of the head coach, Chris O'Brien, a junior. I had him out at the Scholastic Ball Report earlier this year. I said, can you shoot the three? He said a little bit.
No, he can do that. That's what I was meaning on the previous possession. DeJuan Davis kind of forced the issue, and he had O'Brien open on the corner. O'Brien can absolutely spot shoot.
These Frankfort players can really find the open man.
Oh, they play unbelievably unselfish. Once they started to figure things out in mid-January, they started steamrolling people.
O'Brien looking for the 4-point play, and he missed the free throw. 21-12. That would have made the lead 10 for Frankfort, which would have been their biggest. This is the biggest lead they've had, 9 points. Down low to Marino on the low block, goes in on Twombly, powers it up, and that's going to be a foul. You know the thing about it, as well as Jackson's played, you've got 10 fouls to give at that 5 position because, the big man Tillman already has 2. Twombly just picked up, I think, in the ball game, that's his first foul, so that's 3 already on that position.
Well, as I've said before, that you do have a freshman as well as he's playing. You got to make him play defense. You've got a Division I Mr. Basketball candidate. Yeah. Get him the ball on the block. You're not shooting it real well. Now get to the free throw line, but Scott County's not making their free throws.
Yeah, Diablo's missed a couple. That's a first miss by Michael Moreno. He knocks down he's 4 of 5 at the line. 21-13, Frankfort by 8, 5 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the first half from Eastern Kentucky. We had a good crowd in here. Wanye Frank, over it comes now on the left side to Chaz Alston, back to Frank, working on Williams. Frank, a long 3 out front, back of the rim, no, flying through with the rebound. Good job by Alston. Over it goes to Frank, bounces down low. Twombly throws it up, and he is fouled. I don't think that's on Marino. I think that was on.
No, I think it was Moreno. Okay. Moreno had his hands. He did not have his hands straight up. And one of the things that Twombly does a real good job of, he'll turn over that left shoulder and create contact. And he's a big boy for a freshman now.
Yeah. And the foul did go on Moreno. I thought they might have called it on Harris. Free throw good by Twombly.
I wonder if Scott County will start being a little more aggressive and not settle for so many jump shots. They're now in the bonus, so every foul from this point on with 5:09 left.
We mentioned Twombly, a 72% field goal shooter, but 71. He shoots better from the field than he does from the line.
That's hard to find nowadays.
Yeah. Diablo Stewart, it's 22-13. Frankfort by 9, 5 minutes. Lob down, go, and it's stolen by Frank as they were trying to get it down low to Hamilton.
Very poor angle. Need to make one more pass to the wing there.
O'Brien cut off now by the big, long, and lanky Taryn Hamilton.
Hey, Moreno's got one. I'd go back to Twombly, make him play some defense too.
O'Brien on the left side, cut off, penetrates, looking for teammates, gives it to Davis, DeJuan. He's double teamed. He needs help, trying to get out of it, and now he gets it in the middle. And they go down low, Twombly, and he powers it up and in.
2 things made that play. DeJuan Davis, being a seasoned veteran, stepped through the double team, and Chaz Alston flashed to the open spot on the floor. Great dump down to Twombly.
4 minutes and 15 seconds, first half action, 24-13. To the basket, and shot put up, and it won't go. .407.
That's a huge foul because that's Wanye Frank's second, and he has to stay on the floor.
Yeah, I think he'll stay in there, don't you?
He has to.
Free throw connected by Diablo Stewart.
If this is a game in mid-January, you get him out. But
yeah. Going out will be Twombly, the freshman.
Now we'll see what Frankfort does defensively because they're awful small.
Yeah.
And you already have Frank with 2 fouls. Davis doesn't have any, so I'm going to say DeJuan Davis or Chaz Alston will grab the assignment of guard Michael Moreno.
24-15, Frankfort on top. 4 minutes and 3 seconds to go, first half action. Gary Ball, Tony Wise, and the king of stream, William Warfield, Darren Douglas here courtside. Davis gets it back to Frank. Frank free throw line jumper, and it's good.
That's his shot. That is his shot.
8 points for Wanye Frank. Average is over 17. The lead's the biggest that Frankfort's had tonight. 11-point lead is the biggest. There's a three-pointer by Glenn Covington. Good. Boy, he's so smooth out there, isn't he?
Probably not the best shot, but he never had a doubt.
26-18. Bush gives it out top to Davis. Davis hands it to Frank, and there's a deep three, and that's back of the rim, no. Battling down low and coming out there with a Diablo Stewart. Diablo Stewart in the front court. 3:12 to go. Bounces right side. Williams going baseline, and he puts it up and in. Nice job by Lorenzo Williams. That's his second basket. It's 26-20. Frankfort on top with 3 minutes to go here in the first half. Wanye Frank. Over to Davis. DeJuan Davis puts it down. Looking for O'Brien over in the corner. Gets it to him. O'Brien, and a lot of contact there. No call. And he gets it. That's going to be Marino over the back there, working against Austin.
That's a very poor foul as well, Michael Moreno. He came through. Chaz Austin had no chance to get that basketball, and that's 2 on Moreno.
I think Chris O'Brien has made the decision that he's not going to go with Tillman at all this first half with
I wouldn't
2
either.
fouls.
Absolutely not. You cannot risk being ahead 6 points, let him get that third foul.
Frank gets it in play. Got it from Davis with the left hand. In the front court on Covington. Kicks it over to Davis, right side. Davis penetrates the paint area. Comes over now. Austin lets it go and got it. What a shot by Chaz Austin. That was from downtown Richmond. 29-20. Here's Covington from downtown. Off the mark. And Covington gets a rebound and puts it up. No good. Rebounded by Twomley, and he's going to be fouled by Bryce Long.
Yeah, DeJuan Davis learned his lesson last time. Great penetration. Kicks it to the open shooter, and Chaz Austin. When Austin plays well, you know, you're going to get what you get from DeJuan and from Frank and from Tillman. When Chaz Austin plays well, they really, really are hard to beat.
Twomley at the line, a 71% free throw shooter. He's 72% from the field. So excellent field goal shooter and pretty good free throw shooter.
Yeah, I said he's been, you know, I have to tell you that, you know, he's been the MVP so far.
10 points and 5 rebounds.
Couple block shots.
Yeah.
Couple rebounds.
Got the free throw. And remember, he's a freshman.
Oh, don't remind me.
You'll find that out the next 3 years.
Don't remind me.
Well, by his junior year, he'll be a beast. 31-20, maybe next year. Covington right side with the basketball, crossing over, goes in to the basket, put it up, and counts, and it's good. He will get the soup and the sandwich.
Man, watching the replay, looks like he took about 3 extra steps. Maybe that's the James Harden rule in there.
Well, it's, you know, that Euro step. They're giving that Euro step this year.
I'm not even sure that was just a sprinter start.
Covington, he finished it, though. He said, hey, if you're going to foul me. Boy, we got a crowd fouling in here, Coach Wise. I mean, this is a big crowd in here. Free throw connected there by GC. And he now has 6 points. 31-23. Frank kicks it over to DeJuan Davis. In the corner it goes to Bush. Bush back out. Stolen by Covington. Leads out to Diablo Stewart, and it's stolen back by Davis. Gives it to Bryce Long, and it's blocked there by big time on a block by Austin.
You know, Chaz Austin, when you look at him, he doesn't look like a whole lot, but I'm telling you, he is super athletic, and he never gave up on the play and came out of nowhere. You might have heard a cheerleader over there.
Oh, did he?
No, I'm just saying, that ball was smacked out of bounds.
Will O'Brien in and Bush out for Frankfort. 31-23, they're on top 8. Their biggest lead has been 11. Marino has it. Gives the corner Covington a 3. That's no good. Tapped out. Diablo Stewart's got it for Scott County. Penetrates to the basket. Kicks it over to Long. Bryce lines up to 3. Good.
That's Bryce Long's first clean look. Diablo Stewart, excellent job of creating penetration and kicking it out to the open shooter.
Cuts the lead to 5. 31-26. Frankfort on top of Scott County. Frank gives it back to Davis. Davis over to O'Brien. Bryan double team, trying to get out of it. Ball bounced, knocked away, and Long tried to save it side court right in front of us, but stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, Will O'Brien dribbling to the, not only did he dribble the corner, put the ball on top of his head, and Dad reminded him that's not how you're supposed to do that. In not so nice way. I guess as a parent you can do that when you're the coach.
O'Brien hit that big three earlier, had a 4-point opportunity, but Austin, back to Austin in the paint area, throws it up, no, and rebounded by Diablo Stewart.
And great ball movement by Frankfort.
Sure was. They got it right where they wanted it. Bryce Long fakes with the ball, backs back out, lines up a shot on the left side, off the mark. There is Hamilton going to war, throws it up, no good, and knocked out, picked up on a rebound by Austin. Austin gives to Frank. Wanye Frank. And Twombly calling for the ball over there, didn't get it to him. The freshman wanting the ball. Into the area, Frank kicking in the corner. There's Davis's three, rolls out, and Marino taps it over to Hamilton.
Yeah, that's a poor shot. That's not DeJuan Davis's forte, and there's 14 seconds to go.
And there's going to be a charge on Diablo Stewart. So Stewart, that'll be his first foul. 8 seconds to go, and Frankfort will get the last shot here in the first half. They lead 31-26. Coming up, Woodford County will play Henry Clay after this game. Frankfort on top of Scott County, 5 seconds. Davis over the right side, Frank's three, air ball, reached up by O'Brien, turns, and time runs out on Will O'Brien. First half comes to a close, 31-26. The lead belongs to Frankfort, and they're getting a great game. Tony Wise out of Wanye Frank with 8, and Jackson Twombly off the bench has 10 points. One of their leading scorers, Johnny Tillman, hasn't even scored in the game. Went to the bench with about 6 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the first period.
Yeah, playing 2 minutes in that half. And Jackson Twombly, the guard play with Wanye Frank and DeJuan Davis, excellent handling basketball, but Jackson Twombly has been the man of the hour.
31-26. Frankfort, though, they did lead by 11 points. Scott County was able to get it down to 5 points here at halftime, 31-26. So Scott County fought their way back in it. We got a long halftime. We'll have Darren Douglas taking over for me here at halftime and give you some first half stats. 31-26, Frankfort on top of Scott County.
I work really hard, but I'm struggling to pay my bills on time. I've gotten pretty far behind, and I don't know what to do.
Is this happening to you? We're Atkinson, Sims, and Kermode.
Bankruptcy could be your best solution.
We're here to give you a fresh financial start.
Start your bankruptcy for as little as $78 now. The consultation is free in Lexington and now in Somerset.
By the numbers, Whitaker Bank loves the Kentucky communities we serve.
There are 50 Whitaker Bank locations serving Kentucky communities just like mine.
61 Whitaker Bank ATMs throughout Kentucky make getting quick access to cash easy.
Whitaker Bank staff serves the needs of nearly 70,000 Kentucky customers every day.
We share your passion, Kentucky. Love the bank that loves you back. Whitaker Bank is uniquely Kentucky.
That familiar sound of rubber and wood floor. The feel of the ball passing between hands and air. The squeaking of the sneakers. And the moment of silent breath, thankfully followed by the whipping of net. And the reward after. This is a moment to remember. This is a Mingua moment.
We're at halftime of the first semifinal game of the 11th Region Boys Tournament here in Richmond at Eastern Kentucky University's Paul McBrayer Arena Alumni Coliseum on the campus of Eastern Kentucky University. And we have a surprise going here at halftime. It is Frankfort in front of Scott County, 31-26. Panthers have led pretty much throughout in the first half of action. Give you some stats here, and Tony Wise will join me here in just a moment. Darren Douglas here at halftime on the PrepSpin Sports Digital Network. Some stats to give you. Scott County right now only shooting 28% from the floor this evening. They are 2 of 11 behind the arc, 7 of 25 from the floor overall for Coach Billy Hicks's Cardinals. However, the Cardinals have gotten to the line 13 times in the first half, and they knocked down 10. Frankfort, meanwhile, is 13 of 30 overall from the floor, 2 of 12 from behind the arc. They have only been to the free throw line 5 times here in the first half. They have hit 3. Cardinals lead the rebounding battle 21-16. However, when it comes to turnovers, Frankfort's kept control of the basketball. They've actually only turned it over 6 times against the Scott County pressure, while the Cardinals have turned it over 9 times. 8 assists for Coach Chris O'Brien's team in the first half off their 13 made field goals. 4 assists only for Scott County. Both teams have 6 steals here in the first half of action. Frankfort surprisingly leads it by scoring in the paint. The Panthers have outscored the Cardinals 16-10 in the first 16 minutes of action here. And the bench 14-2 in favor of Frankfort. When we get to the individual scoring, though, that will tell you the whole story on that one. Leading scorers for Scott County in the opening 16 minutes, it was Glenn Covington and Diablo Stewart with 6 points apiece. 5 points for Michael Moreno. 4 points for Lorenzo Williams. 3 points for Bryce Long. 2 points for Taryn Hamilton. Cam Fluker. Toby Harris scored 2 points. Taryn Hamilton and Cam Fluker played in the first half and failed to score. For Frankfort High, they were led in scoring by Jackson Twombly, the freshman, with 11 points off the bench for Coach Chris O'Brien's team. 8 points for Wanye Frank. 5 points for Chaz Austin. 4 points for Javon Bush. 3 for Will O'Brien. John Tillman and DeJuan Davis played in the first half. They failed to score. Davis played the entire 16 minutes. Tillman only played 2 minutes because he went to the bench with 2 fouls. Frankfort led it after the first quarter 14-9, and we were dead even in scoring in the second quarter with both teams tallying 17 points. Biggest lead in the first half was the Frankfort lead at 11. Came at the 4:29 mark of the second quarter. Scott County led for only 1:37 of the entire first half. Fast break points in favor of the Cardinals 4-2. Points off turnovers in favor of Frankfort 8-5. And second chance points also in favor of Frankfort 9-3. Frankfort shot 44% in the first half from the floor on 7 of 16 from the floor. They were 13 of 30 overall, as I mentioned, for 43%, 2 for 12 behind the arc for 16%, and 3 of 5 from the foul line for 60%. Frankfort leads here at halftime by a score of 31-26 over the heavily favored Scott County Cardinals, ranked number 1 preseason. Pretty much throughout the year, the Cardinals were the top dog in the Commonwealth. However, losers of 2 out of their last 3 heading into the district tournament before losing 78-71 to Henry Clay in the 42nd District Championship game. Of course, Scott County won the other night easily. Well, not easily, over the Indians of Madison Central on the road as a district runner-up. Frankfort a champion in the 41st over Woodford County, 55-50. We'll be back in just a moment. We'll get the final thoughts, some thoughts of Coach Tony Wise here on PrepSpin.
The future of healthcare seems dark at times, but for patients in Kentucky with diagnostic imaging needs, there's a place with clarity and a compassionate staff. Lexington Diagnostic Center and Open MRI provides quality patient care while saving you hundreds to thousands of dollars as compared to hospital-based centers. Remember, for your medical imaging needs, you have a choice. Lexington Diagnostic Center and Open MRI.
Back here at Paul S. McBrayer Arena on the campus of Eastern Kentucky University, it's the boys' 11th Region Tournament, semifinal number 1. Right now, we have an upset, and you can't really call it a huge upset because Frankfort High comes in here with a record of 28-5 on the season, and they've been ranked in the top 15 pretty much throughout the year when people got word of how good this ball club was. But Tony Wise joins me here. And, Coach, you've seen this team play, being a member of the 41st District at Franklin County. This doesn't surprise us because we followed this team pretty much all year. We knew how athletic they were. But the thing that surprises, I think, a lot of people, Frankfort hadn't turned the ball over against Scott County pressure. Only 6 turnovers.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm looking at these stats, and you've got Scott County with 4 assists and 9 turnovers compared to Frankfort, who has 8 assists and 6 turnovers. And you would think it would be the other way around, but Frankfort's DeJuan Davis and Wanye Frank are doing an excellent job of handling the pressure, and they're getting a lot of pressure. You know, you get Jonathan Tillman in foul trouble with 2 cheap fouls. When I say cheap, things he shouldn't be doing to pick up those fouls. Those were fouls. That's not what I'm saying. But at the same time, Scott County comes out and they take 38% of their shots on the year from 3. 11 of their 25 shots are from 3 tonight, and you've got no Jonathan Tillman, and you've got, as talented as he is, Jackson Twombly in there. I just don't understand why Michael Moreno isn't parked in there on the block, and you pound it down there into him. And now, if I'm Chris O'Brien, the first thing I'm doing, because Tillman's going to be on him, I'm going down there at him. And if I'm Billy Hicks, if I'm Chris O'Brien, I'm going right at Moreno because they both have 2 fouls. Right. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But an excellent half by Frankfort. And Scott County is really lucky to be down only 5.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You think about this. Tillman spent 14 minutes of that 16 minutes on the bench with 2 fouls. And again, Twombly is a freshman, folks, 6'5", 220. He didn't play like a freshman in the first quarter. He acted like he'd been there before, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. He's very familiar with him, obviously being in the same district. He is a very talented youngster and a great compliment to Jonathan Tillman. You know, in years past, if Jonathan Tillman got in foul trouble, Frankfort was in deep trouble simply from the fact that they didn't have a Jackson Twombly to come in and spell him. But now he comes in, 11 points, 4-4 shooting, 3 rebounds, 1 block. I mean, he's been the MVP so far.
Yeah, he leads the team, both teams in scoring with 11, the only player in double figures. Gary Ball will join Coach Tony Wise for the second half. Can Scott County overcome this deficit at halftime by 5, or can the Frankfort Panthers punch their ticket to Friday night's championship game? Stay tuned. More coming on the PrepSpin Sports Digital Network.
Did you know, in addition to education assistance,
We're back here at the 11th Region Basketball Tournament semifinals. Get ready to start the second half with Frankfort leading Scott County 31-26. Gary Ball with Tony Wise and the King of Stream. William Warfield.
Gary, it's not even 7:30. We've already had a buzzer beater. Bullet East at the buzzer beats PRP in the 6th Region semifinals.
Wow, Dale Mabry knocked down to the Sweet 16. It's tournament time here in the Bluegrass. We start the second half with Williams going over to Diablo Stewart on the right side, works in with a left-hand dribble to the basket, puts it up in traffic, won't go, rebounded by Frank. Frank clears it out. You do have Big Tillman in there on the left side. Marino cuts him off. Tillman lobs it out and hit the ground hard as Davis, as he went up in the air and full weight went to the ground hard.
Yeah, that was an accident. Diablo and DeJuan Davis go back a long way. That was incidental contact. If there's a tougher kid than DeJuan Davis in this gym,
I want to find him.
Yeah, you got to look for him.
Well, you got to look hard for him too. He's a little gimpy. He's walking with a limp.
Well, he turned his ankle in the district final on Friday, so he's not even 100%. But what he may lack in other things, he sure does have. He sure does, as my dad would call it, Willie.
Looks like they're going to get Will O'Brien in for him. Comes over to Javon Bush on the right side. He kicks it back out to Wanye Frank. Third quarter just underway. 5-point lead for Frankfort. To the basket. Davis with the left hand up and in. He says, you know what? I'm not hurt that bad. 33-26. Long to Moreno. Goes in on Tillman and has it knocked away. And they're going to give it back to Scott County. Said it was last touched by Frank with those quick hands. Knocks it away from Michael Moreno. Here comes O'Brien in for DeJuan Davis. I think he showed with that move to the basket in the lay-in. By the way, want to thank Fantasia Farm tonight for sponsoring high school basketball. We'll tell you about them throughout the course of this second half. And ball knocked away, coming out there with it, Frankfort. 33-26, they lead by 7 with 6:50.
Yeah, Diablo Stewart with 2 forced shots. He's out of rhythm tonight, so we'll see if he can settle down.
Tillman to the basket, put it up and in. Tough shot by Tillman, his first basket.
I just told Darren I want to see who attacks who since they both have 2 fouls.
And Tillman attacks. There's Moreno out top, and the three-pointer good. Michael Moreno.
Got a sweet stroke for a big fella.
Sure does. 35-29, cuts it down to 6 points with 6:20 to go. Right side, it comes over to Austin. Chaz Austin down low to Tillman. Tillman spinning on Moreno. Backs in, looking, in trouble. Comes over, and there's Austin's shot. That's a three-pointer, no. Tillman rebounded, and he's going to be fouled on the reach there by Lorenzo Williams.
Good call. I think Williams got him on the arm, but Jonathan Tillman, if he's anything, he sure is fresh. And DeJuan Davis back into the game very quickly. I didn't think he'd be over there very long.
Thanks to Darren Douglas for handling all the halftime here tonight. He's our sideline reporter. Goes on the left side to Frank. Glenn Covington on him. Wanye Frank. 6 minutes to go here in the third period. Frank has it deep on the left side. Tillman posting up. tries to lob it to Tillman. He wasn't there. Throws it to Lorenzo Williams. Williams drives down on Davis. No, rebounded by Tillman, and he throws. It's going to be a technical. He throws a shot, an elbow into the face of Long, and we're going to have a technical foul call.
Well, more importantly is, one, it was great defense by DeJuan Davis not to foul, and now Jonathan Tillman, by route of the technical foul, now picks up his third foul. It was just a simple jump ball, and there's really no need for him to hit Bryce Long in the mouth with the forearm. He's picked up 2 fouls, and the technical foul, really silliness on John Tillman's part. He's way too important for the team. He needs to stay on the floor.
Fantasia Farm is our sponsor. A sponsor tonight. They offer summer camps, birthday parties, and more. Over 30 acres in Lexington. Register for camp before at the 11th Region Tournament for a $50 discount. Free throws in and good for Covington. And also, you got the website at iamthird.org for Fantasia Farm. Both free throws connected by Glenn Covington. That cuts it down to 4. And, of course, Scott County will get the basketball with that technical foul called on Tillman. Tillman goes to the bench. And, boy, he was...
Yeah, I'm just watching the replay, Gary. And, like I said, great defense by DeJuan Davis. And that's an easy call for the official, hitting right in the face. Do you think if this is a college game, that would be a flagrant one?
So Tillman goes to the Chris O'Brien bench, and Chris O'Brien going to the scorers table to clarify something, and 5:49 to go in the third quarter, 35-31.
This is but Gary, this is a dangerous time for Frankfort. Now you got Tillman back on the bench, got a little momentum here, so let's see if they can weather the storm.
Twombly in there to cover Moreno. Back out to Covington, over to Long. Bryce. Back to Covington, lines up the 3. That's off the rim, off the back, rebounded by Frank. Kicks it out to Davis.
Great defense by DeJuan Davis.
Twombly, right side, throws it up on the baseline and goes in.
From 5-6 feet in the end, the kid can put it in the basket.
Diablo Stewart loses the ball out of bounds, just dribbled it out of bounds. It'll go back to Frankfort. They'll get the ball back, leading 37-31. That's a turnover. And how many turnovers for Scott County? 9, I think, in the first half?
Nine in the first half. And my guess is Diablo Stewart, off to a rough start, won't be in very long. And on cue, in comes Cam Fluker and Kobe Harris.
Yeah, Kobe Harris in there. Cam Fluker shoots 52% behind the arc. Give it out to DeJuan Davis. To Frank. Twombly, right side, throws it up. No, and it's going to be knocked out. And we're going to have a...
I think Javon Bush is over the back.
Yeah.
Jackson Twombly with a strong move. Like to see him use the glass there, though.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, he's got 12 points. He shows no fear for a freshman.
None.
37-31, Frankfort leading Scott County. #1 team in the state, and there's going to be a foul called, and Davis and Twombly were there.
I think that was DeJuan Davis. Oh, here comes Jonathan Tillman. So we'll see if he can keep his head here. I would like to see Frankfort play Twombly and Tillman together. I wonder how Scott County would guard that.
Michael Marino with Tillman out on him with 3 fouls. 5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Marino puts the dribble down and playing defense on him. Tillman come over to Fluker. Back goes to Marino to Covington, and he's to the basket, lays it up and in. Covington.
Great little give and go and a dump down by Michael Moreno.
That's 10 points for Glenn Covington. Tillman has it on the high block. Works down the left elbow, knocked away by Fluker. And Marino gets it long past the Long. Long running floor, knocked away by Frank. And they're going to give it back to Scott County, but great hustle there by
Well, first of all, what a pass.
Yeah.
Michael Moreno might want Jim McKee see if he's got some more eligibility.
Touchdown by
And great hustle by Wanye Frank to break up an easy what should have been an easy 2 points.
And Covington will get it way out to Fluker. Almost stolen. Fluker will stop. It's blocked by Frank, and it's stolen by Long. Marino picks it up.
Great play by Bryce Long.
Back it comes to Long. Long to the basket, throws it up and in. He will get fouled, and it will count. Bryce Long. He can make it with this free throw. He can make this a one-point ball game.
That foul was on Jonathan Tillman. And to be honest with you, that's an awful call.
I did not see him, and he was in the vicinity.
I was too slow to see the replay.
Tillman was over there, wasn't he?
He was, but man, of all the banging and the physical as it is, to call that.
Free throw no good, and picked up by Davis for Frankfort. Marino back, comes over now to Wanye Frank.
He got fouled.
He got the hammer, no call, and that's what Chris O'Brien's calling for. He's calling for a foul on his star player, Wanye Frank, shooting the three, but didn't get the call.
Well, as coaches, this is where we get a little frustrated. You have a touch foul down here, and Wanye Frank got run over.
Yeah.
On a three-point shot.
37-35. Scott County can take the lead with a three, tied up with a basket. Bryce Long. Over now to Fluker. Fluker. Back out to Covington. Covington's going to walk with it and turn it back to Frankfort with
He wanted to shoot it.
Yep. In the worst kind of way.
I think if I'm Chris O'Brien, I'm going to call a timeout here. He's a little worked up, and as he well should be. But this game's too important. Calm your kids down. Get them a blow, because DeJuan Davis has played most of the minutes, and Wanye Frank has not come out yet.
Frank and Davis. Davis has 2 points here in the second half, but he's the floor general. Gets a pick. Right side, hangs, won't go. Rebounded by Moreno. Leads it out to Fluker. Fluker down the right side, lays it up and in.
Another great outlet pass by Michael Moreno, and great defense by Glenn Covington not to foul.
And it's a tie game. We're tied at 37. And maybe just a little bit too late on that timeout there by Frankfort for your liking, or?
I would have taken the timeout just so I'd have the ball, but DeJuan Davis got to the basket. Glenn Covington with just a great defensive effort.
Fantasia Farm is our sponsor.
Education assistance, UPS now provides housing for qualified
birthday
employees
parties
through
and
the
more
UPS
over 30 acres in Lexington. Register for camp before and after the 11th region tournament for a $50 discount. And Fantasia Farm and IamThird.org is the website. IamThird.org. Fantasia Farm. 3:24 to go in the third quarter of action, and Scott County has come all the way back from an 11-point deficit to tie this ball game up here with 3:24 to go in the third quarter, Coach Tony Wise.
You know, Frankfort only was 6 points in the first, 4:36 of the quarter. So
yes, sir.
The pace is actually, you know, we talked about it being an up and down, but the pace is actually helping Frankfort because Scott County has kept people fresh. Wanye Frank has played every minute. DeJuan Davis has played almost every minute, and you have to survive. You got to get to the fourth quarter. Let's see how Frankfort responds coming out of the timeout.
Tillman on the bench with his fourth foul. You thought that fourth one was very suspect. Davis gets it from Bush over to Wombly, working in a Marino. Marino gets a steal, and he leads it out to Long. And Long will drive, lay it up and in. Bryce Long from Marino. That's several passes in this game where Marino's just beat Frankfort back with the ball with a pass.
Well, Scott County's decided to pick up the pressure here.
39-37. Davis crossing over into the paint area, and he is going to be fouled. Foul called on Scott County. It's going to go, I believe Harris picked that one up.
I think that's pretty good defense, Gary.
So going to the line will be Davis. On the season, just a 45% free throw shooter, Davis.
Yeah, he's not a great shooter, so if the worst case, get 1 for 2 out of DeJuan Davis here would be great for Frankfort.
Harris goes out and Williams comes in for the Cardinals. Moreno's in there, Bryce Long, Cam Fluker, Glenn Covington, and now Lorenzo Williams. Wombly's in, Frank, also Will O'Brien, And you've got Chaz Alston in the game as well. Makes the second one, 39-38. Marino as cut off by Jackson Twombly. 2:30 to go in the third quarter, 39-38. Marino fakes a shot, gives to Bryce Long, lines up the three, got it! That's 7 in the quarter for Bryce Long.
You know,
he's got 10.
Yeah, the one thing I like about Bryce Long tonight, he hasn't forced it. He hasn't.
Davis to the basket, won't go. Long rebounds, and he's going to be fouled by Austin.
Yeah, Bryce Long hasn't forced the issue. He's taken what the defense has given him and great screen down to get him open on their motion offense for Scott County.
Coming up, the next game will be Henry Clay and Woodford County. That should be another good one.
Absolutely.
2:05 to go in the third quarter. Gary Ball with Coach Tony Wise and William Moorfield, the king of Stream. Darren Douglas. Marino out top, fakes it, gives it over to Williams. Lorenzo, he's working on Austin. To Cam Fluker, to Bryce Long. They're going to come out and give him a little bit more pressure. He just hit a shot out there. Bryce Long into the basket, and he's going to be fouled. That's the third foul on Austin.
That also puts him one away from the bonus with a whole quarter plus a minute 46 to play.
Scott County has come all the way back from an 11-point lead, much like Kentucky did with a 15-point deficit last night behind, of course, Hero. And there's Marino. Shot won't go. Tapped out. And with the ball is Frank coming out there. Marino missed 2 point-blank shots. When did you ever see that? Frank hit, and finally the second time he was hit, they called a foul. He came down, shot a three a few minutes ago and was fouled, and finally gets the call. And Kanye Frank.
Yeah, Frankfort very lucky there not to be down 6. Michael Moreno, I think you can chalk that up to rust.
Oh, yeah.
You can't miss 2 months of basketball and come right back and pick it right up.
And Twombly, the freshman, has played a great game. He has 12 points. And in the first half, let's see how many rebounds did he have. He had a total of 3. So he's got about 4 or 5 rebounds. 42-38. Frank penetrates left side. Out top he comes now to O'Brien. Gives it back to Frank. Frank crossing over. To O'Brien it goes. He lets a three fly off the mark. And Bryce Long got a good rebound for Bryce Long.
Yeah, that would have been a big shot for Frankfort.
Here's Covington. It's blocked by Frank. Picks it back up to the basket. Throws it up. And we're going to have a...
There's a coach's kid taking a charge.
Taking a
shot,
charge, yep.
Got his butt back on defense. Stood there and took a big hit. Glenn Covington, I'm not sure want to take many charges from him. He is a well put together young man.
1:03 to go. Third quarter action here. Great crowd here at Eastern Kentucky University. 11th region semifinals. 42-38. Frankfort needs a bucket. To the basket. Frank, he puts it up. It's in, and they're going to call a charge on Frank.
Very, very little contact there.
That'll be the third on Frank.
Williams was in position. But, man, there wasn't a whole lot of contact there.
51 seconds here in the third quarter. 42-38. Scott County on top. It'll be the Henry Clay Blue Devils, Woodford County Yellow Jackets battling right after this one tonight here at Eastern Kentucky. Long pass. Here's Diablo Stewart working it down with a left-hand dribble all the way down court. Angles right side, comes out top to Williams. Swing it over to Covington. Covington bounces now to Marino. Low block, powers it in. He's going to be tied up by Davis.
Yeah, great play by the Juan Davis. But give credit to Will O'Brien. They got caught on a switch. Moreno went to take him to the basket, and O'Brien walled up and held his ground.
So Frankfort,
they're surviving, Gary.
Yeah,
they're surviving.
But they need to hit a shot here. It's been a little bit of a dry spell. Frank way out top. Dribbles to the basket, kicks it in the corner, and there's a three-pointer. Knocked down by O'Brien. Will O'Brien, second three of the game. And
that's got to be a foul on Williams.
Quickly down court. Yeah, they called that on Williams. Good call, Coach.
But you know, O'Brien again, Wanye Frank with an excellent play, drawing the defense, kicking it across court in the corner to Will O'Brien. Will O'Brien didn't celebrate, got back on defense, and calls the foul.
Will O'Brien made two great plays. Made the
Absolutely.
shot out of the corner, came down and made the defensive play.
Needless to say, that was a huge shot, but this is a big possession for Frankfort. Chance to take the lead.
Yeah.
I'm not taking this shot less than 3 or 4 seconds to go.
Davis works across on Williams, got 2 fouls now. Gives to Wanye Frank. Frank for 7 seconds, stops him 15. That's short, and rebounded by Michael Moreno with 2 seconds. Moreno gets it now, and they won't even get a shot off at the end of the third. We head to the fourth quarter. Scott County 42, Frankfort 41. Final quarter coming at you here on PrepSpin.com, leading digital network in the state of Kentucky, with the king of stream, William Moorfield, Gary Ball, Tony Wise, Darren Douglas. We'll be back after this 42-41 Scott County on top of Frankfort.
I work really hard, but I'm struggling to pay my bills on time. I've gotten pretty far behind, and I don't know what to do.
Is this happening to you? We're Atkinson, Sims, and Kermode.
Bankruptcy could be your best solution.
We're here to give you a fresh financial start.
Start your bankruptcy for as little as $78 now. The consultation is free. In Lexington and now in London.
That familiar sound of rubber and wood floor. The feel of the ball passing between hands and air. The squeaking of the sneakers. And the moment of silent breath, thankfully followed by the whipping of net. And the reward after. This is a moment to remember. This is a Mingua moment.
Folks, this is Gary Ball.
Welcome back to the fourth quarter of the 11th Region Basketball Tournament. Michael Marino will put it in play for Scott County and Diablo Stewart. They'll go with Cam Fluker, Glenn Covington, Lorenzo Williams.
More importantly, Frankfort on the bench with Jonathan Tillman, his 4 fouls.
4 fouls, yeah, for the start of the fourth quarter anyway. Back it in, Marino throws it up, and it almost went in, but he's going to be fouled. And let's see, I think that's going to be, who they call that on? I think Frank picked that one up, didn't
That's
he?
It's Wanye Frank's 4th foul.
Yep.
And that's really a foul. You know, Frankfort's picked up some cheap fouls. I thought Twombly had good position on him, on Moreno, and Wanye Frank reached in and really kind of bailed him out. Now you've got your two studs with 4 fouls.
Michael Moreno misses the free throw. He has 8 points, looking for his 9th point. Glenn Covington and Bryce Long lead Scott County with 10 apiece. Missed both free throws, rebounded by Fluker. He brings it back out of there, Cam Fluker. Backdoor to Diablo Stewart. Back it goes to Covington. Over to Fluker. Fluker penetrates, gives to Williams. Lorenzo now swings it back to Diablo. 7:30 to play. 42-41 Scott County on top of Frankfort here, and it's been a good one. Marino down the lane, dipsy doodle no. Twombly rebounds it, pulls it out of there, gives it now to Frank. Pass deep in the corner to O'Brien. O'Brien, he needs some help. Goes to Twombly, and they're going to get a timeout over there. I'm looking at the stats here, and the rebounding edge, and Scott County's got that now at 30-24. And turnovers, they've got 14, Frankfort 11. Frankfort got a quick timeout there, Tony Wise. It's 42-41. They've got the ball. They could take the lead here in this basketball game.
Well, Frankfort only had 6 turnovers in the first half, had 5 that quarter, and only 4 of 11 from the floor after going 13 for 30 in the first half. Frankfort I'm talking about. Neither team has shot it well. The defense has been fantastic. We thought we were going to have a shootout, but you know, you get on this college floor, and I think it benefits Frankfort because they got such good guard play. They can spread you out, and they're hard to guard. Both teams are hard to guard, and I think the defense that both teams are playing have been excellent.
Will O'Brien has hit 2 big threes in this game. One in the first half, one here in the second half. And let's see if he plays a factor here in these last 7 minutes. I'm sure he will.
Yeah, let's see if Wanye Frank, because he likes to gamble on defense, he's got to play smart with those 4 fouls.
Comes over to Davis. Davis, right side, gives it up to O'Brien. Back to Davis. Juan Davis telling people to clear out. Angles right side, trying to go to Twombly. Good pass.
Great pass.
Twombly puts it up and in. That was a great pass.
But what great body position by Jackson Twombly, the freshman.
Long pass. Davis knocks it away, gives it to Frank. Davis was the only one on the floor looking for the ball.
Yeah.
He found it and he tapped it to Frank, and 43-42 Frankfort with 6:29 to play. Frank down court, he's going to be grabbed, and the foul's going to go on Williams. That'll be the bonus on Lorenzo Williams.
Wanye Frank, an excellent free throw shooter. 77% on the year.
Yeah, I think he's the best percentage-wise shooter from the line for Frankfort. He's a senior. He said, I'm glad we're having all this success at Frankfort in my senior year.
Yeah, those kids have really they've become better basketball players. They've actually become very mature young men. And you can see by the way they're playing, they're going toe-to-toe with the #1 team in the state.
Free throw connected by the #1 free throw shooter on the team, Frank. That's kind of like, did you see Tyler Hero's comment to the player last night that said, I hope you missed one? He said, I'm money or something. And
I'm a bucket, I'm money or something.
Yeah, something like that. He's 93% on the season.
That's
so
crazy.
He's Kyle Macy-like, isn't he? I think Kyle Macy shot 92, 93%. Second free throw, rolls in there. Boy, he got a kind roll on that one. Soft touch, as you said. 45-42, Frankfort back. They've got a 3-point lead right now. They've had as big as an 11-point lead. Scott County has led by as many as 4 in this ball game.
Yeah, Chris O'Brien bringing Bush back in for
what will
Austin.
What will he do with Tillman? 4 fouls.
I'd leave him over there right now. Twombly's playing out of his mind, playing great basketball.
Marino, he's not a freshman anymore, is he?
Not tonight.
Not tonight. He's a sophomore, sophomore with all the games they've played. Fluker bounces to Williams. He drives in, puts up the shot, good. Good job by Lorenzo.
Great shot fake by Cam Fluker by getting 2 people off the floor.
Twombly has it knocked away, picked up by Frank way out front. Comes to Davis, kicks it over to O'Brien. Right side, puts up the shot off the mark, rebounded, and shot put up and won't go there for Frankfort on the shot by Bush. And we're going to have the net is hung up. 45-44, Frankfort by 1.
Ooh, that was big miss there.
Yeah, I thought Bush's shot was in.
Yeah, great job on the offensive glass by Frankfort. I believe I'd be finding 22. Mike Moreno's conditioning has got, especially on this bigger court, he can't be in tip-top shape. I believe I'd be looking for Twombly.
Twombly is a 6'5 freshman. He has 14 points in this game. Out front from Williams, a 3, got it!
Wanye Frank anticipated the cut off their motion, popped straight back out for the 3.
40.
John Tillman's at the table. I would leave Twombly in and play them both together.
Davis kicks it over to Bush, back to Frank. Wanye Frank gets it in the corner to Bush, hands it back to Frank. Frank spins out of it. 5 minutes to play in this game, 47-45. Scott County by 2. Gives to Bush. Bush hands it back to DeJuan Davis. Back it goes Frank, stops left side, got it!
Mid-range, he is deadly.
14 now for Wanye Frank. We got a timeout as Tillman set to check in for the Panthers. Score is 47-47. Coach Tony Wise, the head coach of Franklin County, it doesn't get any closer than this, 47-all with 4 minutes and 45 seconds left.
Well, a couple things. First of all, I assume Coach O'Brien took that timeout to get Jonathan Tillman in the game, but that only leaves him with 1 timeout left, and there's still 4:45 left to go in the game. So we'll see. We'll see. If that comes to fruition, the lack of timeouts here, and also what I would say is, and I said this earlier in the game, that you know, being in Frankfort's district and Woodford's district, people are asking me all the time, well, how good are they? And I've told people all year they are 2 of the top 5 teams in our region, and now everybody's seeing how good Frankfort is.
Well, you don't win 28 games for nothing. They're 28-5. Scott County's been pretty much #1 all season. Although the poll Monday of this week had Henry Clay biting on their heels right there. I think Scott County was #1, but it was only by like 0.2 of a point in that Cantrell ranking.
Well, Scott County might not see Friday night. This is going to be interesting to see how that lack of timeouts will come into play.
Tillman's back in there for Frankfort, the big 6'6" senior. Marino across the line is Covington. He's working there on DeJuan Davis. Angles toward the right side, 4:38 to play. Covington gives it to Williams. Lorenzo fakes a shot, gives it now to Moreno. Moreno over to Bryce Long. O'Brien on him. Back it comes Fluker. Fluker moves in, jumps up a 15-footer. No good. Rebounded by Windsor Williams, and he knocks it down. Williams has had some big shots here.
Oh, beautiful.
To Davis, lays it up and in. Boy, Davis getting behind everybody.
That was, Javon Bush. The ball never touched the ground. Got it inbounds quick.
Yeah,
2
Bush.
passes up. Wide open layup. Beautiful basketball.
That was the Bush. You're right. Javon Bush with the lay-in. It's 49 all. 4 minutes. Williams gives it over to Fluker. A high arcing 3. Won't go. And Covington pulls it out of there. We're going to have a foul on Glenn Covington. (49-49), 3:56.
Man, that's you can make the argument he didn't go over his back, but
that's 4 on Covington.
I think that's just a pretty athletic play from where we
said it. It certainly looked like it.
But now
we got a tough angle.
But now you have DeJuan Davis at the free throw line.
Who's not a good free throw shooter.
Not at all.
He was 1 of 2 his last trip up there.
Just watch the replay. That's a tough call. And DeJuan Davis, 45%.
Missed it. Rebounded by Marino. 3:54 to play. Frankfort and Scott County locked up in a 11th Region Classic here at Eastern Kentucky University. Marino bounces over to Bryce Long, fakes with the ball. Spinning, hands it back out to Williams. Lorenzo drives down, and he throws it up, won't go. There's Tillman battling on the right side, and coming out there with it is Austin. They give it over to Frank.
Man, Wanye Frank has played such a smart game. He's never forced the issue. He's totally under control under a lot of defensive pressure.
Davis down low to Tillman. He's got 4 fouls, got to be careful.
He thought about lowering that shoulder, didn't he?
But then he thought, I got 4 fouls. Frank crossing over with the dribble. Allen Iverson used to do that the best of anybody, didn't he? And Frank stops from 3, and that's off the mark. There's Tillman battling and coming down with it. He didn't want to get his 5th foul. And Covington gives it to Long. Powered off the right side. Good. Bryce Long.
Scott County this half has really hurt Frankfort in transition. Tons of easy baskets.
That's 9 points in this half for Mr. Long. He's got 12 overall. He's the game high scorer for Scott County. Frank to the basket, kicks it out to right side to Austin, over to right side to Tillman, and we're going to have a foul called.
I think it's just out of bounds.
Yeah,
Frankfort will keep the ball.
Just the ball was out of bounds. And
now that looks like a foul, but Michael Moreno, to the naked eye, looked like he jumped straight up, and Chaz Austin created all the contact for the reason for the no call.
2:33 to go in this basketball game here at Eastern Kentucky. 2-point ball game. Frankfort trying to get in. They get it to Will O'Brien. O'Brien gives it to Davis. Right side, he hangs. It won't go, and it's going to be knocked out. They're going to say last touch by Moreno. I thought from this angle that it was last touch by Bush of Frankfort. They're going to give it to Frankfort.
Yeah, I agree, but at the same time, that's 2 layups Frankfort's missed here in the last couple minutes. DeJuan Davis with an excellent baseline drive.
51-49. Scott County on top of Frankfort. Davis goes to Tillman, working on Moreno. He's to the basket, power move, won't go. Rebounded by Michael Moreno. Got 2 guys on him, clears it out to Williams. Long pass to Covington, into the lane. Tillman there, Covington puts it up, no. And right side, Frank has got him. Wanye Frank.
Great play by Bush to keep the ball alive.
Here's Davis, clears it out to O'Brien, left side. Back now goes to Bush. Over to Davis. Davis in the corner to Tillman. Minute 56 to go in regulation. 51-49. Right side, that's no good on the air ball.
That's not a very good shot by DeJuan Davis. And this is where only having one timeout really hurts, because that would have been a great place to take a timeout and get a shot.
A minute 39 to play. 2-point game for Scott County, 51-49. Scott County trying to go to the regional final Friday night. So is Frankfort. How long has it been since Frankfort's been in a regional final?
Man, a long time.
Diablo Stewart clears it out to Long. Bryce has had a great second half, and he's going to be fouled, and the foul's going to be on Will O'Brien.
Yeah, that's a silly foul. There's no need. He had nowhere to go and kind of bailed him out by reaching in.
That'll be the second on O'Brien. Into the game is Austin. Going out will be Bush for Frankfort. At the line will be Bryce Long.
And here's where the lack of timeouts hurt you, because Wanye Frank took a forced three. They missed a layup. That would have been a great chance, like I said before, to get your team organized, get a good shot, only down 2.
You got the senior at the line, and he has a great second half working as he knocks down the free throw. It's 52-49. Scott County by 3, and Long has 13, make it 14 points. And the lead is 4. Billy Hicks wants a full timeout. And Scott County gets it, 53-49. Scott County by 4, and we'll be back here on PrepSpin.com.
This is Gary Ball, and you hear my catchphrase, soup and a sandwich. When I want the best potato soup and prime rib sandwich, I head over to Rafferty's restaurants after my games. Check out Rafferty's 9 great locations throughout Kentucky, and all you teens, you can eat at Rafferty's before those big ball games. The open prime rib sandwich is what legends are made of. Ask Joe B. Hall, the legend himself, it's his favorite. Rafferty's a big supporter of high school sports throughout Kentucky. Rafferty's, where the special is you.
By the numbers, Whitaker Bank loves the Kentucky communities we serve.
Whitaker Bank supports 496 Kentucky schools.
Over 282,000 students benefit from Whitaker Bank's Kentucky education initiatives.
Whitaker Bank has contributed almost $441,000 to education programs for the advancement of Kentucky's youth.
We share your passion, Kentucky.
Love the bank that loves you back.
Whitaker Bank is uniquely Kentucky.
Some things never change. Like the sound of pads crushing against the equipment, the feel of cleats on fresh-cut grass, or the deep breaths from a full practice. Another thing that never changes, the feeling of relief when the whistle blows for break. And the savory snack to go along with it. This is a moment to remember. This is a Mingua moment.
Welcome back. We have a minute 18 to go here in this ball game. It's 53-49. Scott County leading Frankfort. Frankfort's Wanye Frank works it over to Davis, right side, looking for Austin. Davis slides left, gets it over to O'Brien. He bounces to Tillman. Tillman backs in on Marino with the hook shot. Rolls off there. Tillman gets it, throws it up.
Wow.
No. Austin rebounds. He sticks it up. Oh, it went halfway down. Came out there for Austin, but he'll go to the line and shoot 2.
I love the fact that Tillman, he took an off-balance shot, but went and got it. Thought he got fouled. And then Chaz Austin, that would have been a huge and 1.
Would have cut it down to possibly 1 point, but he's at the line, and he knocks down the free throw.
Austin needs to go ahead and make this when they can get Bush in for O'Brien on defense.
He's a 66% free throw shooter, so not bad. It's not great, but not bad.
He needs this one.
He can cut it down to 2 with 50, almost a minute to go in this ball game.
Yeah, no need to panic if you're Frankfort. Maybe mix it up, maybe a little zone press here.
Austin got them both. He's got 7, and the lead is 2.
Some running. Yeah, I'm sorry, Gary. Just some run and jump. Show them something that you haven't shown them all night.
53-51, Scott County on top. Under a minute to play here. Gary Ball with Coach Tony Wise, the king of stream, William Moorfield and Darren Douglas here courtside at Eastern Kentucky. Diablo Stewart over to Lorenzo Williams. Williams played big here in the second half. Williams working on Austin. Bush back in there. He's on Diablo Stewart defensively. Diablo backs it back out. Chris O'Brien calling for him to come on out.
Yeah, he's trying to get him to run and jump, but they're not getting the signal.
And Marino over to Covington. Pass knocked away by Frank. So 29 seconds.
It looked to me that Chaz Austin missed the signal because Chris O'Brien was adamant yelling at him to run at the ball.
53-51, 29 seconds here. And they're telling the Scott County bench to sit down.
I think they got interested in the game, standing up like fans.
Yeah.
Everybody's standing in here. Good
Covington
stuff.
looking to lob. Covington lobs it way out to Marino.
Oh.
Tillman almost got a hand on it. It comes out to Williams. Williams lob out to Diablo Stewart. 23 seconds. Diablo Frank can't foul. He's got 4. And it'll be interesting who they call that one on. I think Bush was there. And
Bush.
Yeah, they called it on Bush.
Man, that's an awful lot of time, 30-plus seconds to run off.
Diablo Stewart looking at his body of work. He shoots 79% from the free throw line.
He's missed 2 earlier. I bet he doesn't miss this 2.
53-51. Scott County by 2 with 20 seconds here. Free throw is good. Money for Diablo.
Frankfort High has not won the region since 1935. And it's been a long time since they've had a team this good and this close.
Diablo Stewart got the free throw. He's a great free throw shooter, 79%. Got them both. 4-point lead, and Frankfort in trouble now with 19 seconds. Frank gets it to Tillman. He lines up the 3. No good. Rebounded by Marino. There's where Marino helps you right there. You're late in the game. You need a big rebound, and Marino's the guy that's going to do it for you.
Tillman can make that. That's an awful good look under the circumstances. You know,
of course, he's shooting into the cheering section there of Frankfort down here on Scott County's, and they've shot much better here in the second half. They've got the wall there.
Frankfort's had their chances. They missed a couple layups.
At the line will be Marino, and the free throw good.
Well, regardless of what happens this last 11.2, the city of Frankfort should all be proud of this group of kids, man. Yeah. They have gone toe-to-toe and a couple breaks here and there, and they could have pulled off the upset.
Marino missed it, rebounded. Coming out of there with it is Chaz Austin. Austin in the front court, launches a 3 off the left side, picked up by Davis, blocked by Marino. And it's over. Scott County has advanced to the regional championship, knocking off Frankfort 56-51. Frankfort a good effort, 56-51. The victory for the Scott County Cardinals here. They advance to the championship Friday night, and they win 56-51. And they got a good effort here, and particularly Bryce Long, I thought, had a big second half. He had 14 points, but almost all of those in the second half. He came up big, and I thought Lorenzo Williams came up big in the second half.
Yeah, I agree, Gary. Mentioned it earlier that Scott County was able to get some runouts in poor defensive transition on Frankfort. Kind of got Bryce Long going, and then Lorenzo Williams with the big 3 to put Scott County up for good, down 1 at 47-46, was able to give them the lead for good.
56-51, Scott County prevails in this one over a good Frankfort ball club. Frankfort, of course, led at halftime, but they couldn't hold on to that halftime lead. But Scott County came back with a strong second. I think Tillman's foul trouble throughout this game, it started with 6 minutes to go in the first quarter. I think that really, but Twomley played, Jackson Twomley played so well, didn't play like a freshman.
No, not at all. He earned his stripes tonight. And the thing that has to be frustrating for Chris O'Brien is, and we've talked about it, is Jonathan Tillman's first two fouls. The first one you can chalk up. He's a little nervous. It's the first minute of the game, whatever. The second foul was even worse. But then to get the technical foul when you're up 6 and, you take the elbow or the forearm to Bryce Long's face. So he has got to play smarter, and it's a shame to have his last.
Ryan Bart's the ultimate fan of Scott County.
To have his last game to end like that. But that senior group of Bush, of Tillman, of Frank, of Davis, being in their district, I'm glad they're gone. But on a serious note, the fact that those kids have brought Frankfort to where they are, they've gone to 3 straight regional tournaments. They won a regional tournament game for the first time in, I think, 13, 14, 15 years, whatever it might be. Nobody leaving this arena or at home in Frankfort. Everybody should be super proud of this group. Scott County, on the other hand, you can say,
survive in advance.
They didn't play that well or whatever. Frankfort had a lot to do with that. Frankfort was unbelievable in the defensive end.
Let's go courtside to Darren Douglas, and Billy Hicks is going to the locker room. So
he got the flyby.
Yeah, he got the flyby. So we'll step out, come back here on PrepSpin, and take this break, and then we'll come back and try to get some post-game interviews.
I'm on a fixed income. Credit cards help me balance the money that's coming in and what I need to live on. I've thought about bankruptcy, but how am I supposed to pay for it?
Sometimes the people that need help the most
are the very people who can least afford it.
We've come up with a way to get you started for less.
Start your bankruptcy for as little as $78 now. The consultation is free. In Lexington and now in London.
This is where it all started, right here on this farm. We may have grown over the years, but we've never lost sight of what was important to us. We're continuing that tradition today, and we always will be, for generations to come.
And we're back here at Eastern Kentucky. They're naming the 11th region team. Wanye Frank and Tillman named that all-region team. Also, the final here was 56-51. Scott County wins by 5. And good job, Coach Wise. Good job working with you as always. And I know you got a commitment Friday night, I think. So we'll see you down the road, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you at the Sweet 16 next week.
Oh, absolutely. Can't wait.
So for Tony Wise and for William Warfield, the King of Stream, for Darren Douglas is Gary Ball. The final score, Scott County 56 and Frankfort 51 from Eastern Kentucky. And stay with us in about 20 minutes or so. We will have Woodford County taking on Henry Clay.